One thing that we tend to do, especially as men and especially to our boys, is not allow our boys to express themselves. So we'll say, toughen up, be a man, grow up, you this, you that, or whatever the case may be. And then we take the expressing themselves away from them. We take that away from them as if they don't have a right to do that. And I want to release to you that you literally have the power to change the narrative of how your children can see you as a father. What's going on, everybody? Kirby Love back again with another video today. For topic purposes, this video is going to be, he teaches me how to father by how he fathers me. All right, I got some bullet points that I want to touch on, written down right here on my phone, and I may not be able to get through all of it on this particular video, but it will definitely be a continuation for everything that I have. And I believe this will help the men out there, and women will be able to kind of use some of this in the same way for parenting, from a parenting standpoint. But definitely want to speak to the men, and I think one of the most important things in this is just seeing God in everything. A lot of times we go through situations and circumstances in life and we just take them as they are, and we don't see God or Christ. We don't see Christ in the middle of the situation. We don't see Christ in our life. We usually just take those things and run with them and say, well, okay, well, this is just what it was. What do I do? How do I figure this out? How do I make this move? How do I change this, or whatever the case is? When, as I was praying and just sitting back, and I was like, wow, man, like, he teaches me how to father by how he fathers me. And one of the first things that I wrote down was to be active and not just present. And I feel like this is something that I've struggled with before, and sometimes it's because of my busyness, because I running a business and serving in one place and another place and traveling and doing all of these different things. And it's like, yes, you're here, you're at home, and even as a husband, sometimes we can kind of we could be like, yeah, I'm here, but it's one thing to be present, but it's another thing to be active. And I want to revert this back to always to just seeing God in the situation, because remember, I say he teaches me how to father by how he fathers me. So when I say be active and not present, I look at God and like, man, he's not just present, but he's literally active in my life. And if God is that way, then I need to be the same way for my children, because this is how he is fathering me. So how he fathers me is how he teaches me how to be a father as well. So there are times when, like I said, I'm busy and I'm going here and there and I'm present, but I'm not as active with my kids the way that I need to be. All right. And these are things that they will remember as they grow. Like, man, dad was always busy, dad was always doing this, and dad was always doing that. And I want to release to you that you literally have the power to change the narrative of how your children can see you as a father, all right, as a man. And one of the things that I wanted to release is to be active and not just present. Be active, not just present. Active means that you are literally spending time with your children, that you're literally speaking to them, that you're literally coaching them, that you're doing things with them. You are actively engaged with their day-to-day life. You're actively concerned about what it is that they're going through. You're actively allowing them to express themselves the way that they need to express themselves, or whatever the case may be, which is another point that I have down here as well. But it is our duty, it is our responsibility to not just be here and say, okay, I'm at home, I'm not in the streets. And sometimes, we can get in a place when we're like, well, at least I ain't in the street somewhere, at least I ain't doing this, or whatever the case is. But we have to be active in our children's life, in our household, and not just present. Again, it's one thing to just be there, but it's another thing to be there and actually be doing something and making an impact in your children's life. So that's the number one thing that I have down. I mean, there's no particular order, but it's the first thing that I had down as I would just begin to think about how God is teaching me how to be a father, by how he's fathering me. So he's actively engaged in my life. All right. And another thing is, I know this is a little bit different, but I'm choosing to let God be active in my life. Okay. It's not that he don't want to be. All right. So, but I have to make a choice and a decision to allow God to father me the way that he desires to father me. All right. So just to kind of revert that back to the natural standpoint of me fathering, then I also have to put myself in a position so that my children can be like, okay, Dad, I'm going to let you do it. Dad, I'm going to let you take care of it. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm active, not just present, and because I desire to do for them, then I also put myself in a position where they're willing to say, okay, Father, Dad, you can come on, lead me, the way I need to be. And as you're submitted to God as a man, then he will teach you and direct you and put you in the position that you need to be as a father to run your house and those things. So the next thing that I have down here is allow them to express themselves. There have been times in my life, and I released a video a few months ago about learning how to express myself, and part of this was just realizing that, man, I can literally go to my Father, our Father who's in heaven, and just say how I feel. And one thing, or one of the ways that helped me to understand this, was just seeing the life of David, how David really expressed himself in the Bible. And I was like, man, this is the God that I serve. This is who my Father is, like someone who really cares about me, who cares about my thoughts, who cares about my feelings, my emotions, what I'm going through. And it's not only for me to just go, when I say I'm going in prayer, usually when we talk about prayer, it's just, okay, I'm just finna go and cry out and things like that, or sit there. But I'm literally going and saying, Father, I'm struggling right now. I'm dealing with something and I don't know how to handle it. I'm about to lose my mind. Like, I'm literally expressing myself because this is how I feel. All right. And the Holy Spirit will comfort us in the middle of those times of how we express ourselves. Right. So again, he's teaching me how to be a father by how he fathers me. And if he is comforting me in my time of expressing myself, then I have to be able to father my children the same way. Because there are going to be times when they begin to express themselves. And it may even be things that I may not understand at the time, but I have to allow them to express themselves. And as they express themselves, then I comfort them, know how to comfort them in the middle of the times where they're expressing themselves, communicate with them, effective communication while they're expressing themselves. And this is something that I've seen the Father do in my life over and over again. Times where I just was going through it, something happened that I wasn't happy with, that I didn't agree with, and I just said, God, I ain't finna deal with this, I'm tired, and sometimes instantly things would shift, things would move, something would happen. He would answer me, he would hear me, he would hear my cries and give ear to my supplications, and things would get better. So likewise, as a father, I comfort my children in their way of time of expressing themselves and saying, I had a bad day, or I'm sad, or I'm just don't feel well, or whatever the case may be. And one thing that we tend to do, especially as men and especially to our boys, is not allow our boys to express themselves. So we'll say, toughen up, be a man, grow up, you this, you that, or whatever the case may be. And then we take the expressing themselves away from them. We take that away from them as if they don't have a right to do that, right? But God don't take that from me. Like, he allows me to express myself. He allows me to tell him how I feel. So should I for my children. All right. And this is one thing that I want to speak definitely again to the men about. When we're fathering boys, we still have to love on them, be affectionate with them, and not just be like toughen up or go sit down somewhere or do this. Like my 14, I have a 14-year-old. I still hug him. I still play with him the same way I do with my 5-year-old, because there's no difference between the respect that he has for me, as his father, as his man, because he knows when I say certain things in a certain way, okay, dad's serious. But there's still a comfort level where he can come to me and say, well, Dad, what about this? I want to talk about this. And then I allow him to be able to have that conversation. Same with my 5-year-old. It's the same way. Love on him, play with him, be affectionate with him, pick him up, kiss on him, show him everything that he needs, right? And this is one of the things that we kind of lack in. And I'll just speak to our African American community for one, where sometimes the men are not there, or oftentimes we have the men are not in the homes and things like that. But even when the men are in the home, for the children, especially for the young boys, there's always a toughen up, go sit down, go do this. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. But what we should be doing is allowing them to express themselves of how they feel in that moment, and then be the comforter that we need to be in that moment. Comforting is not just for the mom. It's not just for the woman. It's not just for, them. Like, we are also to be able to comfort our sons and daughters the same way the Father comforts us whenever we expressing ourselves. So there's some more things that I want to get into, and I want to elaborate more on this. And I probably even bring my brother on, because we talked about this before, and let him give you some insight on some things in this particular topic. But I definitely want to continue the conversation of he teaches me how to father by how he fathers me. This right here is one of the most essential things as a man that we need to just be aware of, and that's how to be a father. Sometimes a lot of men have actually not had fathers in their household, and not had mentors, and not had leaders. So they don't have another outlet. So they're still trying to figure it out. But for this particular video, what I would leave you with is go to our Father who's in heaven, and allow him to guide you, allow him to lead you and teach you how to be the father that you need to be. And as you see how he fathers you, that will continue to give you other things, and be like, man, God did this for me. God showed me this. God spoke to me this way. He still comforted me. That was one time when I went into prayer, and I sat down, and I feel this as I'm talking about it now. I sat down, and I had been distant for a while, and when I say distance, mean I didn't have my usual prayer life time like I was before. It's like you can feel when you kind of like you're real close, where you're always on it, and then things kind of get busy and you go here and there, you're still praying, but your time is not the same. And then I came back into prayer, and I was like, man, I said, God, I just want to sit here and just bask in your presence. And then I just heard the Lord say, this is all I want. And that was it. That was it. And that right there alone comforted me, because it was like I thought, man, since I'm not here doing this all the time the way that I always do, and whatever, that I was so far apart. But God, just those words just let me know, like, you're still right here. Like, I still love you. I still care about you. I see everything that you're going through. I see everything that you're dealing with. And just because you have not prayed every single day, or every time that you usually do, or go by your usual schedule, whatever, it doesn't mean that you have moved so far away from me. I'm still here, and I'm just happy that you come back right here. So, man, if that is not fathering, if that is not comforting, if that right there don't speak something to you, then I don't know what else will. But like I said, I didn't want to make this particular video long, but I just want to release some things that I've been in prayer about, some things that the Lord has been ministering to me And this particular thing right here, especially for our men, I think it's very essential that we begin to have more conversation to help our men learn how to be fathers and even husbands, and there's so many things that we can go down, so many bullet points that we can hit, but these are the two that I wanted to just hit for this particular video. In the next video, I'll talk about some of the other points that I have on how he teaches me to be a father, by how he fathers me. So I pray that you receive something from this video right here. Share this video if this has blessed you, if you feel like this will help some other men in their life and being fathers the way that God desires us to lead our house, to lead our children, and to be there for them. Share this video with them, friends, brothers, cousins, whoever. But until next time, to the part 2 of this, I'll see you guys in the next one. Grace and peace and blessings. Make sure share the video.